everyone, welcome to our 8th edition of our Director Series for this year's Flick. I'm your Undersecretary General of Public Relations. My name is Danielle Villar, and with me today is Rebecca Burkholz. How are you today, Rebecca?
Doing well, thank you.
Awesome. So you're going to be directing the Cabinet of Morocco this year, so why don't you tell me a little bit about your committee?
So the Cabinet of Morocco is basically going to run as any cabinet committee is going to run normally, but for me, I want it to really focus on the social issues that are ongoing in Morocco right now, based on the various things you see just from a very surface level, as well as digging deep into like the allegations of corruption and things like that within the police force. And I really want my my delegates to focus on their roles not only as a cabinet member but also as a political leader in Morocco, because we do have a very divisive political election coming up in Parliament with two different parties, one being very much pro-monarchy, one being leaning towards the anti-democracy, almost pro-democracy. So I really want that to be an ongoing theme throughout my committee. But other than that, pretty much your average cabinet committee.
All right, cool. So what inspired you exactly pick this committee idea?
Well, for me, I had spent a summer, now 2 summers ago, in Morocco for 3 months, and living in the country, you got to know a lot about what is really at the heart of the Moroccans. Like, what do they care about most? And I think dealing with a lot of the youth that were at my English-Arabic language exchange school, a lot of them had the same sentiment of, the idea that Morocco has been reformed socially throughout the years is kind of a facade. And a lot of the different things going on with the Arab Spring never quite reached Morocco, and the monarchy held fast and gave some, leeway here and there, a little appeasement, but there was no real change down to the core and to the ideals of the people. And so I think with a cabinet that is going to be a little divisive on issues, it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that reform and that call from the people, as well as keeping along party lines, keeping with their positions, and making sure they're staying within that realm, not going full on liberalized democracy by the end of the committee. That would be a little out there, but just dealing with what the heart of the issues are. And I think that's where, when you live in a country for 3 months, you get to see that. You get to see the fact that you have to carry around extra cash to bribe cops in case you get stopped along your, day trip to Fez, whatever. So things like that unless you've really lived in the country, you might not have experienced. So that's where my real inspiration came from.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, you've told me about the trip. It sounds so awesome.
Yeah.
So what are you looking forward to the most this year?
For me, I'm looking forward to directing as an experienced, a veteran director, having that come into play, having a little more confidence this year. As a senior, it'll be my last flicks, but at the same time, it's definitely gonna give me the opportunity to, help my staff as well as my delegates exceed even further. Last year, I really felt like that was my chance to, get my feet wet and see how well I could do, see what went wrong, what goes right, kind of way. But this year I think it's gonna go a step further. Challenging the delegates to go beyond their go-to research, beyond the Wikipedia page. I want them to dig deep into the roots of Moroccan history, socially, politically, religiously, and really bring that forward in the debate. I want substantive. I want intriguing, and I want them to be also caught off guard by our crises. I won't throw them too many curveballs, but I don't want that to be, I don't want this to be the atypical crisis. Oh, we have a terrorist threat. Oh, we have a religious sectarian violence. Things that are common in either North African or Middle Eastern committees, and I think that really portrays that region in a very, one-dimensional way. And so I really want to give the delegates a chance to see Morocco as this very complex, kind of organic thing that it is, that's been fighting a long history of a monarchy at the same time with that urge to reach the more modern and reach the more progressive ideals that their people really do hold true. So I think that's what I'm most excited about, is challenging my delegates to go beyond that one-dimensional level.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. So what would you say is some advice you would like to give to delegates? That took me a while to come out. But yeah, what's some advice that you would want to give to some of the delegates?
Yeah, I think mostly it has to do with preparation. I think anyone who comes to Flicks, whether they're a first-timer or a veteran delegate, they're gonna get their feet wet that first day. We'll have a lot of left-handed questions and training going on that first day, but being well prepared with your background, with the knowledge of your position is going to be key on doing well in the debate. Parley Pro comes with practice, and crisis note writing and directive writing all comes with practice, but I think your best bet as a delegate is to be the most prepared delegate in the room. I think that's what I strive for as a delegate, and I always advocate to all of our younger members at UF that if you're a little shaky on your crisis notes, you're a little shaky on your overall scheme, your plan, just make sure you've got your background and you've got your knowledge set, because it'll come throughout the conference weekend, so that's your biggest bet for success.
All right, awesome. So just to end this off on a soft note, what do you think is your spirit animal?
So I've been told a few things over the years. Anything that's pretty much boisterous, a little outgoing, a lot of hand movements maybe. So there's been some references to various birds, but I would more like to see myself compared to perhaps a nice lab or a German Shepherd, something that's loyal, outgoing, and friendly, and always there when you need that comfort or a good laugh. I think that's really more my spirit animal that I would see myself as.
No, I see it. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for everyone who is currently watching. I'll be posting all our social media information down below, our blog, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, so thank you guys so much.